What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna be showing you guys how we made our new single "Hold On to Me." So let's dive into it. So we started this song in November 2019 and it came out really well but lacked the good vocals. So we had to go through some of the sample packs which we had and we got this amazing vocals from Drop Gun sample packs. And we finished the song with that sample, like the vocals, and that's how the song happened. So the song is in G minor and we started the break with this piano chords. And the piano is having two layers. One is like an Avicii style piano, which sounds like this, with good reverb on it. To give the piano more transients, we had another layer. It sounds like this. That's the piano. To support the piano, we are having some other layers in the break. The first one is a bass line, which sounds like this. To make it fat, I'm having like an overdrive and saturation along with Waves 1 knob plugin, which is like a fatter. And a little bit of EQing and cutting up the high end, and that's the bass line. Moving on to the next element in the break, we are having a pluck which is from Serum. There's not much processing happening in this one, just a bit of EQing and a bit of compression, and that's it. And the next element we have is a strings. It's actually chopped one. I think I chopped it because of the vibe in the break. It suits well with the track. This is it. Along with the keys, it sounds really good. That's it. A bit of compression and EQing in the strings as well. And we're having another element which is a snap. We try to do like some overdrive kind of thing to make it stand out, and having a bit of good reverb with good amount of decay time, and some effects like sweep ups. It sounds like this. And that's pretty much the break. Alright, so moving on to the vocals of the song. So before we put anything on the vocal track, we always start with adjusting the gain of the track manually so that when you do the compression, it would sound natural. In this case, we start with the subtractive EQ, that is like a Pro Q. Cutting all the harsh frequency in the spectrum, from there to a DSR, from there to a glue compressor, which really works good on vocals, and a saturation. In this case, we used Fab Filter Pro Saturn, and from there to put the EQ, boosting up the 8000 Hertz a bit, and from there to a mid-side EQ, just boosting up the sides. And after that, some more subtractive EQ in the different stages of mixing, and that's pretty much it. So with everything turned on, this is how it sounds. Even when I close my eyes, all I see is you. Tell me where you run in my mind. And that's the vocals. Alright guys, so let's get into the first build-up of the song. I'll start from the snares. We are having two layers. One is taking the high frequency, which sounds like this. To provide the body to the snare, we are having another layer which sounds like this. Together, this is how it sounds. Not much processing happening in the snares, just overdriving the first layer and some Shep 73 stereo EQ, which really works magic on snare drums. We really like that on snares. And this for the second one, just a Shep EQ. And moving on to the FX side, we're having so many layers in the FX. Sweep down from Kashmir. Yeah, Kashmir's sweep FX pack is the best. We always take every FX, I mean like the sweep up and sweep downs from Kashmir's pack, which really works well. And a sub riser going on, just a sine wave pitched up, and another riser. I think this was from Dropgun samples, and another FX. And towards the end of the build up, we are having so many risers coming up, but we actually managed to EQ out everything so that it wouldn't interfere each other. And another riser and some drum fills in the end of the build up, and a transition from break to the build up, and impact from Kashmir's pack. That's pretty much it. Moving on to the keys, we are having the same progression which is played in the break. This is how it sounds. And the chopped string layer also here, and the vocals. So the vocal sounds like it actually meant to be on the build up of the song. We really liked this layer, I mean this part of the vocals in the build up. And drop leads are coming in. I'll talk about the drop leads in a bit, because we have to talk about the drop leads when we talk about the drop. So that's pretty much the build up. So let's get into the first drop of the song. I'll start with the bass line because it is having so many layers. So both of these layers, I just duplicate it so that I can EQ it differently, because in the second bar the note changes, so in the mix down I wanted to EQ it out differently. So with these three layers, this is how the bass line sounds. And we are having another layer which is a pluck bass. So I forgot to tell you, both of these layers are from Serum. It was so CPU heavy, so I couldn't keep the original file. So did all the processing and bounced it so that it wouldn't eat my CPU. So moving on to the next layer. This is a plug bass from Serum itself. This one is for the transients of the bass line, and the next layer is like, it's called Feed the Mouse. It's also from Serum. And another layer which is from Serum itself. And there is so much going on in the bus. First one is a glue compressor, which makes everything which makes everything sounds together like a one sound. Really like this funk pick preset from them, and it really worked well. Moving on to the next one, there's a Pro MP controlling the low end. Another multiband dynamics, boosting up the mids a bit more. And saturation, we use FabFilter Saturn, really worked well. Some one knob fat stereo for more, what do you call it, more saturation. And kickstart for sidechaining, and FabFilter Pro Q, just boosting up the highs, a 5 dB I guess. And that's it for the bass line. So let's move on to the kick in the drop. First layer is this. And the second one is like this. So the first one is like the body of the kick, and the second one is actually controlling the high frequency. That's it. Together, this is how it sounds. And it goes really well with the bass line. I'll just play it for you guys. Alright, so let's talk about the lead sounds. I had to do a production for my band, and I resampled this lead sound from Dropgun samples for the track, and we finished the song and it was really good. So I kept this on my resampled folder. So one day when I was out of ideas, I was going through samples and saw this one, and started the idea of this song with it. And this is the lead sounds. So in addition to that, we added another layer of pluck for more transients in the lead sound, but this is not very audible kind of layer, but it is actually doing its job. I just saw it for you guys. Sorry, this one is it. Yes, this is it. And the piano in the drop is like having a very key role in the drop. This is all together. So the layers are the same in the break, but different progression. That's the only difference. And ARP keys, which you can hear. Yeah, this is the add-on. And yeah, that's it. Moving on, what else we have? Yeah, chopped out some of the words in the first part of the drop. And some vocal chops in the second part of the drop. And claps. Some overdrive and neutron gate. By the way, you have to try the neutron gate. It is really amazing. I really love that plugin. Hi-hats. That Don Diablo style thing we really like. FX, sweep down. Some noise towards the end of the drop. Crash in the first bar, I guess, yes. And some drum fills. Towards the end of the drop. So altogether this is how it sounds. That's it. Apart from the first break, we are having two different elements in the second one. The first one is a break beat, and the second one is a slap bass. So together this is how it sounds. There's not much difference happening in compared to the first one. Same keys, strings same, the plucks. And that's it. Alright everybody, thank you for being with us. I hope you got some basic idea of how we made our new single Hold On To Me. I'm sure that there are a lot of mistakes. We thought of making the video as short as possible, but so we couldn't go through all the individual channels. But we'll be doing a lot more production tutorials for all the upcoming producers and fellow musicians. So make sure to subscribe and we'll see you soon. Peace.